Welcome! I'm so glad you're joining me. For those of you who are just starting, the Orca Swim Show is a weekly show where I bring both information about how the brain works when embarking on change, especially something that is fearful, and we take it to the lab of the swimming pool. After 30 years of teaching in the pool, it's time to hop out of the water and share how the learning works in and out of the water in the same way. The water is a perfect lab to test the learning process because you get fast and immediate feedback along with very satisfying rewards when you focus on the needs of the brain-body connection and not just a list of skills. Then you can obtain lasting and satisfying results. Our pool is a warm 92. Let's hop in and go from regret and missing out to action and freedom.
Welcome, swimmers. Today we're going to talk about why it is so hard to learn to swim as an adult. What goes into this? We find with most of our students, most of the students who've been born here in the US, they have tried to take swimming usually multiple times, or they've had loved ones or friends or something that have tried to teach them to swim, and it just feels overwhelming and hard and like something is missing here. So we wanted to talk about that. What is going on? What's missing? Why does it seem like it's so hard to learn to swim as an adult? So let's get started. Now, the first thing to know that's really important is that when you want to learn to swim, or really to learn to do any physical skill, that the majority of the work has to do with what's going on in your mind, in your thinking, in your mindset, in your beliefs. And only about 20% of it has to do with actual physical skills. And even with that, you have to have 100% presence of mind in order to access or figure out the physical skills. It requires your presence of mind to be there to discover and understand and to know what those physical skills are. So even though somebody tells you what to do with your arms and your legs, it doesn't matter if you don't have the presence of mind to go with it. So this is the biggest thing. We hear from people, they told me what to do with my arms and my legs and my breathing and all this stuff, and it gets all jumbled up and feels like, holy cow, how am I supposed to keep track of all this? Because the lion's share of the information is missing, which is how do I take care of my beliefs, my presence of mind? Let's start at the beginning to take a look at what does swimming mean? Now, we define swimming as being able to move from here to there with comfort and ease, getting air and rest when you want. The key here is the comfort and ease, which this comes from your mind. The body holds the feeling, but your mind creates the feeling. Or our body lets us know where our mind is. So let's go into that a little bit more. When a student is in the water and they are thinking about the wall, or you might say their mind or presence is over at the wall because they have a thought, an underlying thought that says that safety is at the wall. This sense of disconnection, this brings discomfort. You're not in the comfort zone because you are not together. You don't have your presence of mind with where your body is. It's in a future place. Safety comes from being where you are. If you get to the wall, it's not like the wall is going to magically save you. It isn't going to grab onto you or anything like that. You still, if you are right next to the wall, you have to have the presence of mind to be able to use the tool of the wall. The wall is just a tool. It is not what makes safety. What makes the safety is you being able to access the wall. If you're needing to use the wall, let's say to pull your face out of the water to get air. If that's the step of learning that you're in. Let's take a little side chunk story here. So let's take walking, something that you currently know really well. You didn't always know walking really well, but you create with your mind when you get up to walk across a room or to walk across a leafy path or whatever it is that you say, well, I know I can do this. And you have confidence in yourself and you get up and you do it and it's easy. And the feeling you get from your body is, I know how to walk. And this trails back to your thoughts, that your thoughts say, yep, I did it yesterday. I could do it today. I come to a new walking situation when the leaf gets slippery, I will figure it out. Now, another time, if you're standing at the top of the building looking down, all of a sudden you might feel like you can't walk anymore, or maybe even stand. Suddenly, this skill that you thought you had in lockdown becomes wobbly. Now, you've been practicing standing. Let's say you're not even walking, you're just standing. You've practiced standing for many, many years. You're very talented at it, I would say, very skilled at it. It's a well-practiced skill. But when you stand on the edge of a building like this, your presence of mind is no longer in the place of groundedness. Your thoughts are way down there, 20 stories down, and it feels terrible. And when you are 20 stories away from where your physical body is, you do not feel like you possess the skills to maybe even stand. You start to get worried that you can't even keep your balance. It's not that your skills have actually changed. It's that your presence of mind has changed. So when you have gone to learn to swim and all the conversation has been about skills and nothing has been about presence of mind, it doesn't work. This is why it has been so hard. We're missing this huge, huge piece. And let me tell you a little story. I recently started working with a woman who she has swam the English Channel as part of a relay team. And, even I had thoughts and beliefs about that of like, well, what am I going to teach this person? This is not something I do. I am not a distance swimmer like that. I'm not particularly fond of swimming in cold water. Living here in Seattle, there's a short period of time, like 2 months in the summer, that I will take people into the lake and explore out there. But I like my nice warm pool and enjoy taking people to Hawaii to learn in Hawaii in their nice warm water. So, what did I have for this woman? Well, we started working through the presence of mind, and she said, "You have transformed my swimming." So this is somebody on the outside, somebody who's a new swimmer, maybe like you. If you're a new swimmer, you might think, they know it all that skills that she has. She could swim the English Channel. But without having the presence of mind, it still didn't feel right, completely connected. And she said, I transformed her swimming by bringing her presence of mind in. It is mind over skill. Mind always comes first. Let's go into a little example here. I'll illustrate with an example. So for a new swimmer, it's especially tempting to get focused on a skill. It prevents you from having to be in the right now and to deal with your feelings and beliefs that are happening right now. But just as I said before, it goes all the way from when you stick your big toe in the water to when you're a very high level swimmer, like my English Channel swimmer, or Michael Phelps does it before he does his big race before the Olympics. He has to get his presence of mind together. So I thought I'd make an illustration with bobbing. Bobbing is something that people do in the water. It's not a very beginning skill, but it is a foundational skill. So I thought it might be a good focus for both our newbies out there and for our people who are developing what they're doing. So find a skill that you're curious about, whatever level of swimmer you are, that I just really want to get curious. My English Channel swimmer, she was curious as to why she didn't fully feel like a swimmer and why she wasn't improving, what was going on. And all the way through, we'll bring our curiosity today with, like I said, with bobbing. So what is bobbing? Let's start there so everybody's on the same page. So this is something that we play with after we understand how a vertical float works, this particular person, my picture here, he is understanding how the vertical float works in the deep water. It's something you can also play with in shallow water. How does a vertical float work in shallow water with your legs just in front of you on the floor? So, and bobbing, as sort of the name implies, we go up and down. It's how do I go up and down after I've understood being in this vertical position? So we as smart, human beings, we like to have things planned out and analyze things. And we tend to like to focus on the skill. So this is what I will see for students is they will say something like, all right, here's the steps. I want to know all the steps. Excuse me. First, I have to float, and then I'm going to move my arms to the surface, and then I'm going to push down, and my head's going to go up, and then I'm going to breathe in and out, or out and in, and then I'm going to go under, and oh my gosh, It gets so overwhelming, so many steps. How are you supposed to remember them all? And part of the reason why we can't remember them all is because within every step, there is a micro step. Every single part has another part that goes in it. We have to be able to be there for each of the pieces, to be able to figure them out as we go along. Every one of those steps that I was listing has individual steps within it, all the way down to what your individual muscles are doing and how they're firing together all at once. The magic is in the presence of allowing your body to figure out the skill. This is why we use the term presence of mind. Only take on as many steps as you can easily hold and imagine yourself feeling. It is all about feeling as you go. To come under and feel the float. Move your arms to the starting position and see, or move your arms to a new position and feel and see what that does. Push down on the water as much as you can remain calm for, and to feel and to get this information. Too much push of the water, you might skip out. You might lose your presence of mind. You might feel like you're standing on the cliff's edge. The skill, to have somebody describe a skill, is just to give you a little picture of the direction of where you are going. But you will only get there by having total presence to each step that you are currently in. Mastery of actions comes from being in the current action. Once you have mastered a step, then you can add the next one. You will go in with the idea of what the next step will be. With our bobbing example, once you have mastered the presence with floating and with push, then you will start to notice the next steps and will have something to do with air. If it then comes becomes about the next skill, it will again be elusive. We just have to play in the direction where we're discovering and using curiosity to take us to the next thing. Are you willing to let yourself be in the step where you are with calm, or do you spend all of your time looking for the next thing? Notice this in your daily life. Don't make yourself wrong for it, but simply notice it. There are times when you get in the groove of an activity, when you have flow or time is flying by, or you're in fun and joy of life. Give yourself credit for these times. This is you becoming the master. Other times when you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour in your head, where you're always in the next step of the current activity, you're pushing ahead, pushing forward. Notice this as something we think that we should be doing. And start to see this as a choice. Start to notice your thoughts behind this. Allowing your mind to bounce all over the place and how it takes you away from actually becoming a master of the activity. Why is learning to swim as an adult so hard? Because when we spend our time in skill, we miss the number one step, which is to master our mind first. Our mind, our thoughts, our thinking, our presence, our being with ourselves. Luckily, you can start taking care of step number 1 without even getting into the pool. You're doing it now. Start noticing your thoughts and how you act as if they are facts, but they are really may just be part of your thoughts.
Thanks for listening. Are you ready to take some action? 3 ways to the freeway. Subscribe, join a free webinar, get started online where we break down the steps, making them simple, and we support you along the journey. So maybe you'll join us in Hawaii. Jump on over to orcaswimschool.com.